Welcome, friends. This is Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric,
And I'm David.
and today we're going to take a look at Mizzou's matchup against the South Carolina Gamecocks. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook and Instagram. All right, so Dave, it's there's really only one thing on Mizzou fans' minds going into this game, and that is who's going to play quarterback for Mizzou.
Yeah, at this point, we don't have any idea about the status of Connor Bazelak. Mizzou's injury reports usually don't come out till Thursdays, which is later in the week. We're filming this on a Monday. So at this point, we're guessing between Brady Cook and Tyler Macon. The issue here is Tyler Macon has played in 3 games now, and if he plays one more, that's it, unless you burn his red shirt. So it's going to be real interesting to see what happens. I expect Brady Cook to start. He showed better skill with throwing the ball, and both you and I agreed he actually showed some quickness, which we didn't expect. Tyler Macon, of course, is a much better runner, but he has a lot to be desired with his passing game.
Yeah, with the injury report coming out Thursday, Connor Bazelak's going to be listed as questionable. There's no mystery there, I don't think. That's just that's going to be gamesmanship on Coach Drink's part. But otherwise, yeah, I'm with you. Brady Cook, not necessarily a threat to throw the home run ball. Neither was Bazelak, let's face it. But he was steady on the short passing game. Tyler Macon had a nice couple deep balls to Towski Dove late, but there were so many passes where he just didn't have the touch or the accuracy. And he doesn't look like a collegiate passer, not with any consistency. You can't hit a little 5-yard tight end dump and you throw it at his knees and it's a laser beam with no touch. It's not going to work. They combined that with the fact that Brady Cook, as you said, he took off on a couple of keepers that no one in the stadium was expecting. And while he didn't necessarily demonstrate moves, he had enough straight line speed to be effective, and that caught both of us off guard. So, yeah, I'm with you. Brady Cook, I think, will be the starter, assuming Bazelak isn't healthy enough to go, which I don't think either one of us is expecting.
Yeah, and when you're talking Mizzou offense, if you look at the Georgia game, Tyler Beatty only played 9 offensive plays, running plays during that game. So Mizzou clearly took him out of the game to keep him healthy. So with the way South Carolina's defense is with the run game, they're close to 100 in the rankings in defending the run. I fully expect it will be the Tyler Beatty show, and if Brady Cook or even Macon is in there, you're going to see a lot of zone read option type things, and they'll just not throw the ball if they don't have to, in all honesty, and just utilize the running game.
Yeah, I think that's a luxury and a cushion that the backup quarterbacks just didn't have going against Georgia with one of the best defenses we've seen in years. I mean, so going from that to a Carolina defense that, as you said, barely in the top 100 of rush defense. Yeah, that's a big change and a big benefit to either quarterback. Now, looking at South Carolina, they've got quarterback concerns of their own. So kind of a timeline of this. Opening day starter supposed to be Luke Doty, injured his foot. So they were so shorthanded at quarterback that they called on a grad assistant, Zeb Nolan, to come in. He started the first few games. Then Luke Doty got healthy, and he started a couple games. Then he re-injured his foot. He has surgery. Doty is out for the year. Zeb Nolan then took back over. He tore his meniscus. He had a procedure done during their bye week. He was expected to be ready for the Florida game originally last week. It didn't happen. He was moved to a game time decision, and he didn't play. Instead, South Carolina was down to their third quarterback, Jason Brown. And, he was solid. You can't ask for more out of a third string quarterback than, gosh, I think he was 14 out of 24 for $175 and 2 touchdowns. You can't ask for more than that out of a third string quarterback, I don't think. That said, there was no consistent deep threat. It doesn't look like, based on the statistics. I haven't watched the game. He had 175 yards passing. One of those passes was for 50 yards. So take that away, 13 out of 23 for 125. And then you're looking at kind of Brady Cook territory, at least comparable. So, David, what's your take on the whole South Carolina situation?
So what I think that means for Mizzou is based off, and I'm taking this again from what I saw against Georgia.
Yeah.
Mizzou totally looked like their defense sold out on a run, and to be honest, I think you and I were both shocked that they actually did a pretty decent job stopping the run against Georgia.
Yeah.
Was not expecting that. Basically what they did is they loaded the box and forced Georgia to beat them in the passing game, which they ended up doing. I honestly want to see Mizzou take that same formula on defense and put it to South Carolina, because South Carolina is not a good running team. So if they can force them into a one-dimensional pass game again and force whichever quarterback is going to be in there, because at this point, who knows? Same situation with Mizzou. If you can force them to throw over the top and beat us, and they do, so be it. They earned it. But because you're talking about second and third string quarterbacks, at this point, if you load the box and force them into a one-dimensional game, you're going to have a good chance of winning that game.
Yeah, I agree with you that Missouri needs to load the box and just kind of crash in on the run. I personally expect Zeb Nolan to be the starter. My only thought there is, if he was game time decision a week ago, one more week of rest, I think he'll be good. That said, with him in there, he's probably not going to be 100%, at least in terms of mobility, maybe knee strength. So I don't see Zeb Nolan being a threat to run the football, meaning defensive ends, really everybody, can just kind of crash the pocket, almost just heavy run blitz, really. And I think that can really put South Carolina at a disadvantage. And yeah, just like you're saying, if South Carolina can have Zeb Nolan or Jason Brown just torch the Missouri defense for 300 yards passing and a handful of touchdowns, so be it. I mean, if Mizzou stops the run and that happens, make adjustments, but tip your cap.
Yeah, now talking about South Carolina's defense, the player to watch out for is Jalen Foster. He's a defensive back for South Carolina, and in all honesty, probably going to make it into the NFL. He leads the team in tackles with 73, and the more concerning number, and this is where I hope Mizzou runs the ball more than passing, is he has 5 interceptions on the season.
Yeah, guy's a monster. He's 5'10", 195. He is my size exactly, which makes me feel like an idiot for not being that good. He's the free safety, and he's got 73 tackles. The linebacker, Brad Johnson, I believe his name is, has the second most tackles on the team. He's got 50. So between that and the 5 interceptions, that's the name you're going to hear a whole heck of a lot come Saturday for the South Carolina defense. Running the football, just a heavy dose of Tyler Beatty, that could be a way to kind of minimize his impact on the football game. Run the football 5-6 yards. If he's lined up at free safety 10, 12 yards down the field, he might have a chance to get involved on a number of plays.
Or if he is getting involved, it's good news for Mizzou, because that means we're getting to the second level.
Yeah. And when South Carolina has the ball, regardless of who the quarterback is, they've got some options at running back. They've got 4 different running backs with 45 or more carries. And Kevin Harris is the running back who's got the most carries. He's got 86 of them for 375 yards. He's got a pair of rushing touchdowns, averaging just about 4.5 yards a carry. Zaquandre White, he's only got 55 carries, but he's got the most yards on the team, 402. He also is averaging 7.3 yards a carry. So he may be the more explosive running back to keep an eye on. As an offense, though, South Carolina only has 5 rushing touchdowns as a team all year. So South Carolina's rushing offense is not the strongest. So in that regard, it's a better matchup for Mizzou. Weakness against weakness, really. And then when South Carolina throws the ball, the top target is going to be Josh Vann. He's got 31 catches for 542 yards. He's got 3 touchdowns. And honestly, that's probably the guy you're going to hear a lot of. No one else on the team has as many as 20 catches. Now, David, it's time for predictions. The opening line was Mizzou by 3. That quickly moved to Mizzou by 1. The term I saw someone use was recency bias. Florida, big name, they got crushed by South Carolina. That was 40-10 at one point. And I think there might be people saying, well, South Carolina beat Florida that badly. What are they going to do to Missouri? And put money on Carolina. Well, Florida doesn't care anymore. Let's just be real. So I don't know that means as much. There might be some good value, although I'm not a betting professional. I said at one point that Mizzou wasn't going to win any games giving up unless they scored 30 or more. But we didn't have any games that we were planning on. Well, we might see third stringer versus third stringer at quarterback, and that's where we're at. So, yeah, points could be at a premium just because the quarterback situation for both teams. So, 27-20 for Missouri is going to be my pick.
Yeah, for my prediction, I said 28-24. I was calling it a close game because there's that uncertainty factor with both sides in the quarterback situation. I also think Mizzou will do a little better on offense. For two reasons. Number one, they're not playing the number 1 defense in the country.
Yeah.
And number 2, now you're talking a second week, and they had a bye week in the process there too. So you're talking 3 weeks of practice for both of these quarterbacks with the first team offense. They're going to be more comfortable with our offense, especially knowing that they're most likely going to get in the game and are ready to play. So I'm looking at a decent showing by the Mizzou offense, and I also think our defense is going to do the same thing they did against Georgia, shut down the run, and again, forcing the pass over the top. And I do expect maybe a blown coverage here or there, and for South Carolina to get some decent yards in the pass game. But I think Mizzou will come out on the top 28-24 in this game. Other than that, that's what we have for this week's Under the Arch Sports. Thank you for watching.